All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here today. I'm, of course, Greg Guy, depending upon how you know me. Joined here by Casey. And for your extreme viewing pleasure, we are going to be, presenting our next iteration of the... I know you hate it, but I'm still going to call it In the Event of Series, a zombie apocalypse scenario. By the way, this is episode 14 of the Bankcast, also. So, as always, as we, need to do in these, particular scenario situations, right, we need to define the scenario. So, obviously, last time, we did slow, kind of like Walking Dead type zombies,
right. Slow, dumb,
unintelligent,
right.
Not a whole lot really to worry about. You went total fucking Fallout on that shit, and
I'm always gonna go Fallout type stuff on all these things.
Well, I'm interested to see what you're gonna do on this one. So, I propose that this time we do a much faster zombie, much like I'm not sure if you ever seen the movie, but like World War Z type zombie.
I've seen it. It's been a long time since I've seen it before, but
okay, yeah. Basically, very fast moving, very
not intelligent. Still not intelligent zombies.
Not intelligent. I would say the only thing that realistically, okay, all right. Now, actually, that should actually probably be up for a discussion. What drives these zombies to attack?
I mean, they want to infect other people.
Yeah, I agree.
To increase their infection.
To take over the entire world with just zombies.
Right. I think Walking Dead type zombies. They were hungry for human or hungry for flesh.
Yes.
They just wanted to eat.
Yes.
And I think DayZ type zombies were more
World War Z
or World War Z, whatever. They wanted to infect others.
Right. I agree. I'm down with that. Now, what would you consider the possible ways to get infected? Now, I would propose this, that you can only be infected if you're bit. Bit? Just bit.
You just want to say, you were just going to say bit.
Bit. You can get scratched.
The bacteria
they get scratched.
Right.
They can bleed in your mouth, because that actually happened in World War Z. He got blood in his mouth, and then remember Brad Pitt was standing over the ledge, and he was counting to 12. And then at 12, he was like, "Oh, I'm all right."
So it's basically an oral bacteria.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
We'll say that it requires whatever bacteria is on their teeth.
Okay, so order to define. So we're basically going to say like a venom type.
You have to be bitten.
Okay, so it's more of like a venom.
Right.
It is.
They can bleed on you. You can get that shit in open wounds, cuts, whatever. In your mouth, in your ear hole, in your nose, wherever else you want to put it.
So they can't just like spit in your mouth, right?
Yes.
Okay. They have to be bit.
You have to be bit.
All right.
Yeah, I told you I was going to throw you a couple curveballs. All right. Now we should probably think about what would be these zombies, ideal conditions.
I mean, I would imagine the conditions are just everyday conditions.
Right, but no. I mean, more or less, what I was actually, alluding to is, are they adverse to heat or cold?
I would think that in the same sense of just like as you feel like normal every day, unless you want to talk about like what is that movie called I Am Legend, where those zombies were kind of fast and stuff like that, but they like their bodies overheated because their infection made them overheated, their
Well,
body, so
actually,
they kind
I-
of like stayed in the shade
I
type
think
area.
I think they were allergic to sunlight or something.
Okay, maybe it was.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but yes, I mean I understand what you're saying. I would venture to say that they prefer. This is my idea, and let me know what you want to do with it. I would say that they prefer a warmer climate,
Okay.
and you'll understand why in a little bit.
Okay. So basically, we're moving north.
Kind of,
Okay.
or south.
I mean, going to
We're moving north.
Right.
People,
right. Okay.
south of the equator will be moving south to Antarctica. But
So we're running for the border to Canada and trying to get as far north as possible.
that, yes, that is, and realistically, I see, and the only reason I say that is because realistically, I don't see any other way out of this scenario than just getting somewhere cold and trying to figure out how to survive.
Well, you also have to have the balance of the will for these. Remember, the driving force for these zombies is to infect others, to become more like them. Is it? Are they willing to overcome their want to infect others, to keep them from going further north towards the
Well, I mean,
cold areas?
see, I mean, that's a loaded question.
Right.
It's like, at the same point in time,
Can they just not be in the cold, or because of a certain reason, or is it because?
I would say it's detrimental to their, function.
Okay.
Maybe if they come in the cold, they decrease their speed by 50%.
Okay. All right. Their bodily functions in colder
Slow down.
areas slow down. Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
I actually kind of like that.
All right.
It's interesting. Interesting.
Maybe they're like infected with like a reptile type virus, right? So now they're hot. Now they're cold-blooded animals. Now these zombies are cold-blooded animals. So they're active in warm areas, and they are slow, and they don't operate as much in colder areas.
Okay, I mean, I think we'll go. So you're thinking.
I mean that. I thought that was good because the way you were explaining it, they just don't work. Their biological functions don't work as well in colder areas. So now they're like a cold-blooded animal.
Right. I would venture to say that they. I think 50% is being lenient. On because they're still gonna be fast at 50%. Maybe even dial it back to like 25, to where they just sort of just like jogging instead of running at 50% and then full sprint at 100%.
It basically increases your survival rate to be in colder areas.
Yes, I would totally agree with that. So anyway, any other twists you want to throw into this?
So if I can survive, like pile up some clothes and survive in very cold weather, do the zombies die when they get too cold?
I would have to say. That's a good one.
If I trap the zombies in a freezer and just close the door on them, can I just kill the zombies that way?
Right, but I mean, what if they can? I mean, how cold does the freezer get? Let's say 0 degrees Fahrenheit. All right,
Freezing.
well, freezing is 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, right. Okay.
0 degrees Celsius
Right.
is freezing. But let's say, okay, so that's what, negative whatever Celsius, right?
Right.
But let's say that is what let's say freezing point is what takes them to 50. Let's say 0 degrees Fahrenheit takes them to 25, and then when you get into the negatives, That's what can potentially kill them.
Okay.
Yeah, oh man. Dude, this scenario is already totally changed in my mind.
I'm gonna have like a snowball machine.
Anyway. So, okay, let's go ahead and move on.
Right.
Now that we have a basic, definement for the scenario. What my first question to you is, what is your particular? Are you even going to bother wearing any armor on this one?
I mean, you're still trying to keep from getting bit, so I think, and it's actually a preferable thing to where if you're going to colder areas, you're trying to get to colder areas faster, so you're going to wear more layers regardless. So now you're going to be able to protect yourself more significantly and still be somewhat comfortable. So I think you were right in the first episode with leather, where it's difficult for the zombie to bite through.
Also, but at the same point in time, we probably should have clarified this earlier. They're more of like a swarm instead of like Walking Dead kind of thing.
Well, it's a swarm. I mean, I still think you need to have that leather protection.
Yeah,
you still have to have it.
I would say something light. I mean, you're not going to do it like they did in World War Z and just duct tape a magazine to your forearm.
But you're definitely going to want to get into a vehicle. That is part number one, because you're going to have to go north. Because I mean, how hopefully on the radio, like the first thing off the bat.
We'll get into that. We'll just focus on armor.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with leather. That's gonna be my bottom layer. I'm gonna wear other layers because we're gonna get north. But I think leather. I mean, I love chainmail, but I don't think chainmail's gonna be good for speed. You know what? Or we can go
chainmail is also not gonna be good. We go reversing north. More toward a pole.
We could go straight tank, but I mean, basically, you're gonna want to get north, so you're gonna need a vehicle, and you're not gonna be able to outrun the zombies anyways. Be as tanky as you can be. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think tanky is the way to go. You're gonna need to be nimble. You're gonna need to be moving.
Well, they're faster than you anyways.
Yes, they are. Until you get further north.
Right.
But as my thing is, okay, they're already way faster than you.
Right.
Why even bother weighing yourself down with armor?
Because you're trying to protect yourself.
I just bring layers of clothes, honestly. That's where I'm going.
Right.
I mean, and then the further north or south, depending upon where you're at in the world,
right.
You progress. You just add another layer.
Right.
Add another layer, and just make sure you don't get those like cold sweating kind of deals. Everything. Because I would assume that with their swarm mentality, you're gonna have a couple of them always, coming at you at once.
Right.
So, my thing would be, I would just want to be able to move as quickly as possible. That'd be the thing. I think that would be the key. Just be able, as quick as possible.
Right.
I think weight is going to be severely detrimental on this particular scenario.
I think there's a balance.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a balance.
Protection.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna need some stuff. But,
right.
I mean, you got to remember about all the other shit you're gonna need, which we will get into here shortly. But okay, now here's an interesting idea. What if we do this? What if we set the goal as reaching one of the poles, north or south?
Okay.
Or actually, just let's redefine that.
I take
reaching Antarctica or whatever the landmass is, around the North Pole. Is that technically part of Canada?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that either. That's interesting. We may have to look into that.
I decided to change my name.
If you know out there what country or even continent, I mean, it's got to be North America, but what country the North Pole belongs to, let us know down in the comments below. And as always, remember to like, share,
and subscribe. And hit that bell button. I've decided to change my mind.
Oh, okay. Go on. I'm listening.
I'm going to the airport.
Going to the... What? We're not even talking about where we're going yet.
Well, you said we gotta get to the polls. I'm going to the airport.
No. That's, okay, but are you changing your armor?
I don't need any armor. I'm getting the fucking plane, and I'm flying.
Okay. You realize that there are no runways at the North or South Poles.
I'm finding a parachute. I'm just going to get to the pole, and I'm going to jump out. And I'm going to hunt polar bears.
Do you know if a parachute is effective in negative 50-degree weather?
I don't know how. I know they are effective in cold.
I know temperature affects the way a parachute works.
But we did a fun jump in Canada where it was like negative something degrees.
Okay.
So
a fun jump?
That's what they call it. It was basically like we went to Canada. The Canadians wore our the Canadian military wore our.
Your jockstrap?
No, not jockstraps. They wore our parachutes.
You wore their jockstraps,
and we wore their parachutes.
I mean,
and you get Canadian jump wings, and then they get American jump wings.
Well, I mean, for a member of the airborne, that kind of is like given the other Canadians and Americans, that is kind of like swapping jockstraps.
No.
I don't know. Sounded right in my head.
All right.
Anyway, moving on. So yes, now we know that we need to get to either the Arctic region up north or Antarctica.
Right.
We have established that, correct?
Okay.
All right. So, what? Okay. Are you bringing any types of weapons along with you? This is right after the shit goes down. However it happens.
I think I'm still going to stay with my same basic kit. I'm definitely going to want a knife, but probably something medium-sized, either a combat knife or a machete. I'm going to still want my 22, because at some point I'm going to have to hunt for small game. And I want my pistol, my sidearm, and I want my rifle.
All right. Now, my issue with this already is, how are you going to run with all that shit?
All I got to do is get into the plane.
Yeah, okay, but how are you going to run with all that shit? Because, I mean, think about it. How long is it going to be before you even hear about anything? How far spread?
Well, you got to survive first. You got to survive long enough.
Right, but I mean, you're talking about carrying all this shit, dude. I'm telling you, that's way too much weight.
Well, are we on foot? Like right now?
To start, you're on foot.
Well, to start, I'm on foot, so I want my pistol and my machete.
Pistol, machete. Yes, I actually shared a similar thought. I thought realistically, it doesn't even matter what kind of pistol, but it'd be a pistol with one bullet.
For you?
With one bullet, and like I said, I would actually go with something with a little more reach for
How do you know being a zombie is that bad?
You don't. All I can tell you is I'm not a cannibal, and I don't want to eat other human beings.
Well, we're not eating; we're just infecting them. The Walking Dead zombies were the ones that were eating people. We're just infecting other people.
That's true. Still, I mean,
maybe it's
I'm a grown-ass man. I don't want to bite anybody.
Maybe it's the greatest rush that you've ever felt in your entire life.
What, to bite somebody?
Just to be a zombie, run at them at 200% speed, faster than you ever ran before, jump jump like 50 feet in the air and bite somebody's leg that's trying to fly away in a helicopter.
I don't know. This sounds like you might have thought about this a little too much.
I think that would be fun. Being a zombie
There you go.
would be
You
fun.
heard it here first. Casey accepts zombieism.
I'm not gonna take it laying down. I'm gonna go out with a fight. But
So he says.
would I blow my own brains out in order to not become a super fast human that can jump many meters in the air, and all I have to do is bite somebody?
Well, you know what? At the same point in time, I would just declare that as you jumping on the bandwagon.
I don't have to accept it. I just have to live with it.
Or not.
Or not.
Anyway, yeah, I went back and forth between, like, you know, obviously, you gotta have a knife, you know, for something. But I went back and forth on this one between, you know, like a more or less like a light samurai sword or a machete. I feel more comfortable with the machete, so I'm going machete as well. Once again,
I mean, a katana would, or like a short blade katana or something like that would be pretty cool. But
yeah,
but I think machetes are just basic. I mean, you're not only just using it on zombies, you're also using it if you're going out into the wilderness to cut down some branches of trees and stuff.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why I was good with machete, and you know, worst case scenario, you know, there's plenty of material on them things to sharpen it down as you need, so it can last much longer than
Yeah, and
like
good,
a sword.
like a decent machete. Like I mean, most machetes are just long or flat type things, but a good machete that if you go by on the flip side has a saw type style pattern on the back, so you can saw down like trees, branches, and stuff like that. You could build.
I mean, some of them do, yeah, but
Right.
not a lot.
Not a lot of them, but I mean, if you want to use a machete as like a survival blade,
Yeah,
that's the kind of machete that you want.
that is true.
I don't know if you know this, but American bayonets also have. They actually have 3 different uses. A military bayonet. So first,
A current military.
yeah,
bayonet?
current military bayonet. So it also first of all it goes on top of the end of the weapon, so you can use it as to stab and slash, and then second it is also has like a pair of pliers on it type thing, where the actual blade hooks onto. There's like a nub on the end of the sheath for the bayonet, and it connects, and then you can use it as to cut, and then for like fences and stuff like that, it can cut through a fence. And second,
Through a metal fence?
yes, yes,
Okay.
and second and third of all, it also has a pattern on the back for
like
sawing.
sawing.
Right.
I mean, that's apparently the engineers were hard at work on that one.
Yeah, and it's when you see a bayonet like that, it's not like I literally did not figure that out till like maybe like 3 years after I was in the army that you could do all this stuff with this bayonet.
Right. At the same point in time, I'm sure if you actually stab somebody with it, it would be a lot worse with the jagged edge and everything.
Right. And by the way, bayonets are not sharp. They are fairly dull, so they're going to do some damage if you hit somebody with it. It's kind of like a slash between a blunt object and a knife.
Right, okay. Well, thank you very much for that insight into the modern bayonet. All right, so let's go ahead and move on here. We discussed scenario.
Right.
We have at this point in time touched on armor,
Right.
or
Leather plus
everything.
layers.
We have touched on weapons.
Bayonet, or bayonet, machete, pistol.
Yeah, basically. Now, I think we should. And we also discussed or touched on where we need to get to.
Gotta go north. Gotta go north or south, depending on where you are hemispherically.
Whichever pole you feel you stand a better chance of making it to. Now, for the next thing would be, what would be your original game plan? Just coming out of here.
Just coming.
Coming straight out the gate. Let's just say that it's at this point in time, it's contained to a more urban and suburban areas. Not really out, in the rural area, kind of like where I am. Let's say okay, let's take where you live. If you look out the window, you can maybe see like a small group running around
right
out in front of your house.
If I can
nothing
see
out here yet.
A small group. I'm getting my equipment ready, and I'm hopping in the car, and then I'm calling people. I'm calling my sister. I'm calling my mom and dad, and I'm telling my mom and dad to come meet me at your house.
Once again, meeting up at my house.
Yep.
My house is the shit.
From then, we listen to the news and we gather information, try to figure out what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
We obviously look. We have eyes, as many eyes as we can, to get the windows and stuff like that, so we can see what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Work as a team. Work as a group.
Work as a team, work as a group. That's going to be very, very important going forward. I believe, especially with the much quicker zombies.
Right.
You can kind of go lone wolf with with the Walking Dead zombies, but
right.
these ones now.
And you could say equipment wise, you could also have.
We're going to touch on that here in a little bit.
Well, I mean, we were talking about armor, right? So if you have a group of people, you can have people for different duties or jobs.
Yeah.
You can have. Like if you have to, you can build have armored people that can build kind of like a wall around to protect, and you can have people that are less armored, clothed.
I don't think it matters because there's always going to be a vulnerable spot on that armor.
No
matter what kind of armor it is.
That's true, but what I'm saying is,
like I said, swarm. They're all on top of you. You're gonna get it.
All right. So you're just gonna go full speed sprint wherever you go.
Well, I mean, we'll get into that.
All right.
So your original idea is just call everyone important, meet up at my house.
Right.
I mean, yeah. Like I said, my house is the shit, especially for an event such as this.
Right. You need somewhere out of the way. Where you can gather your idea, you can gather information,
and on top of that, easy access to a lot of important stuff, which is going to be coming up very shortly.
Okay.
So yes, my initial thing would be, first of all, I would call your ass first, be like, "Yo, shit's going down. Get the fuck over to my house. Grab your go bag." That would be the first thing. The first thing would be to consolidate. Okay. Now let's talk about, and that's only the first step. We're going to come back to the general plan here in a little bit. But I wanted to touch on general equipment and like kit and so on and so forth that you think would be prominent in this particular situation. I would venture to start off and say, number one, okay, for something of this, you would need a radio. This one, I will say, this is a radio heavy one.
Well, I do have.
So I will remind you before you walk out your door after I call you, bring your fucking radio.
Yep, I got my battery, my rechargeable battery, wind up radio that I will bring. I mean, obviously, the same basic stuff that in any survival emergency, you're gonna need at least a little bit of water, a tiny bit of food to start with. You're gonna need basically basic survival gear. I didn't
water,
right,
shelter.
Food, water, and shelter. Well, I mean,
Those are the
shelter is
three
going to be
main
like a movement thing, and shelter is your place for the
At the
time.
beginning.
Right at the beginning. But kit wise, it's just stuff that you carry around with you.
Right. Okay. Yes. Right. And, okay. Now we have established that we have a radio here. Obviously, we have food and water, assuming that the electric grid is still up.
Right.
So, well, even then, I still have the generator. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
Let's just assume that here we have a food, water, shelter. Now, when it comes to the point where we have to actually leave this area, what are you bringing?
I'm bringing. I mean, obviously, like I'm bringing the same type of stuff. I'm bringing the water. I'm bringing some food, and then we're gonna get in a vehicle, and we're gonna go down to the airport right across the street down here.
No. What are you bringing?
My gun, my knife.
You're bringing your weapons, your armor, and food.
Yes.
Water. That's
Yes.
it.
Yes.
That's it. Okay, yeah, that was the same thing I was going to say.
I mean, we're gonna pack the car up. We're gonna pack the car up full of stuff because you don't know if you're gonna make it to the airport. First of all,
Yeah, that's true.
so you're gonna definitely take your weapons, as much weapons and armor as possible, because you're just gonna get to the fucking airport, and then you're gonna you're gonna load the plane, you're gonna take off, and you're gonna go somewhere north.
Okay, yeah, well, obviously, but I would venture to say that there is one other thing that I would want to have, and that would be some sort of firecracker M80 to make a noise, or some sort of noise diversionary device.
Okay, so then we're basically saying that zombies care about these noises.
Well, yeah, I'm saying maybe, possibly. Okay, yeah, we didn't touch on that in the beginning.
Right.
But maybe they're attracted to noise.
Okay, so So you want to be as quiet as possible. That kind of changes, like armor-wise, a little bit too, because definitely you don't want to be having too much armor.
All right, yeah, let's throw that. We can throw that into a future one.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just toss that out for now.
Okay. So noise, like if they're
Forget about noise.
forget about noise. All right. So we can use we can have fireworks. I mean, if you have fireworks,
I just thought. For some sort of like diversionary.
I mean,
I would prefer to leave this house with some sort of like diversionary tactic.
Well, if you have explosives, we can make some stuff.
yeah. I keep them in the fireplace.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, I'm talking about just fireworks. You can use basic household goods. Not that I can talk about it too much to make make certain things to protect ourselves with.
That's true. But I mean, also at the same point in time, you see the only problem with like fireworks and like M80s and stuff is the fuse is way too short. You need to light it, and then maneuver away.
How long?
It's not just like light it and fucking chuck it.
How long is an M80 fuse? Or how long is it?
It's probably like 3-4 seconds.
That's perfect. It's just like a grenade.
Right, but I mean, still, they're going to be attracted right over there while you're trying to move and making noise. They'll be like, "Urgh." That just draws them to you at that point in time. Don't he?
I mean, you could tie fuses together.
Yeah, I mean,
off multiple M80s.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, you would also then at that point in time need a fuse. What do they call that? Fuse. I know there's a name for it.
Yeah, all you have
fuse
to
cord or something.
I mean, all you have to do is have a little bit of candle wax.
Candle wax and string.
Yeah, a little bit of candle wax and string, but you could also use just like continue cutting different M80 fuses. Or if you actually pull the fuse out of an M80, right? The fuse is a lot longer than you think it is. It goes into the explosives, and it's actually probably about that long. And you could tie these fuses together.
It's sacrifice of your other M80s.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Well, you could use a candle wick too.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I would like some sort of diversionary thing, and no matter what that is. I mean, there are probably multiple things. I wouldn't want to give up the radio just to.
Right. That's true.
But I mean, the problem is with like M80 and like firecrackers is after they go off, they're done, and then they hear you, and that draws zombies closer to you, more or less. That's my only problem with that. But I mean, some sort.
Well, they're pretty dumb zombies. They might just try to wander around with a place where the explosion was for hours at a time, trying to figure out what's going on.
Are they dumb zombies?
I mean, I thought we decided they were dumb zombies.
We decided they weren't. Didn't have a cognitive intelligence.
Right. Well, I mean,
they got ears.
They're going to be the last place they heard a noise. That's where they're going to be.
Yeah, until you make noise running away.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. How far can you throw an M80? How far can you throw a brick of firecrackers?
But how loud are you compared to other zombies? and can the zombies smell the fact that you're not infected?
I mean, that's the.
Now we're getting
into like very, very finicky, semantics of the scenario that we did not define at the beginning.
Right. So can they tell the difference between the sound of you running and the sound of another zombie running?
Well, how would they know to? Well, then they would just attack each other. They have to know that they're, a zombie is a zombie.
Right.
Or else they would just attack each other. You didn't think that one through, did you?
I'm starting to think that any zombie pack is going to attack other zombie packs.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. All right. Anyway, continuing on.
Right.
Let's go back to the game plan. Okay. Obviously, we established we're just taking basic food, water, shelter. Or I mean, we're not taking shelter with us, obviously, but we're taking food, water, weapons, ammo.
Well, if your plans don't really work out, you actually are taking your shelter with you if you're getting into a car and go ahead.
That is kind of true. Didn't think about it like that,
Yeah.
but okay, fair enough. All right, so basically, yes, at that point in time, go back to the, plan of emphasis here is pack up a car with all the shit, all the important shit, all the survival shit.
Right.
And I kind of...
That's plan B is staying with the car.
I kind of agree with you. The first place to go would be an airport.
Right. Because you're trying to get as far north as possible. Fast.
Unfortunately, okay, hear me out. You wouldn't be able to go to a major airport.
No.
Because they will all be in cities and they will all already be total chaos.
Right.
Even a lot of the smaller airports would be relatively questionable.
You really only need a highway. If you're taking a small plane, you can land it. I mean, I don't know how to fly a plane and I don't know how to land a plane, but if I'd try. If I had no choice at all, I'd try. I've done it in a video game a couple times. Not very successfully.
I hate to break it to you, but if we're on the same plane, you ain't flying. Sorry, buddy. But, luckily, anyway, getting back to the point I was trying to make.
See, I don't think flying...
I know a spot where we might be able to acquire, an airplane and maybe even possibly acquire a pilot.
I mean, if the pilot's not infected.
Yes, that's true. Like I said, possibly, because we don't know.
I mean, I would prefer having somebody that could land a plane with us.
It's very true. It's very true. I agree. But, okay, now, just for... Also, this would also be a much smaller airport, so the range on said plane would not be that good. But I believe it would be enough, if it was fully fueled, to at least get us to Canada.
Right.
So, that's... As long as it doesn't happen in the summer, that's already slowing the zombies down by,
right.
50%.
Right.
So, progress. let's say, for instance, we couldn't acquire an aircraft. What do you do then?
If you can't acquire an aircraft, it's going to be difficult because you know the roads are going to be blocked up.
Oh yeah.
You're not going very fast in a regular car.
Nope.
I think at that point your probably best chance is to bunker down.
Bunker. Really?
I mean, if you can't get in a plane, you're already there at the airport. You might as well turn the hangars into like a bunker.
Really? That's what you're doing. You're hunkering down at that point in time?
I mean, what are you going to do? Get in a car and find out that you're going to be stuck out in the open on an interstate trying to get from one place to another? Okay. Yeah.
I'll go for a boat.
All right.
Look.
I guarantee
worst case scenario,
Yeah.
Obviously,
I guarantee
you're out on the ocean
right.
as long as these, sons of bitches can't swim.
Right. Anybody that has a boat,
You got the
I already
food
took
and
the
water.
yeah.
I mean, granted, it's only going to last X amount of time, but
Anybody that lives near the water has already had that idea also. So
Right.
you might get there and find out there's no boats.
No boats. That's true. It's a risk I think is worth taking.
Right.
In my personal opinion, I think you'd be better off than just hunkering down in an aircraft hangar somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
To be honest with you, the only good situation is that you got a plane. Every other situation is a bad situation.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of have to agree with that. But, and at the same point in time, boats eat fuel, so
That's true.
that's but either way, if you could just make progress up to colder regions, that will increase your survival chances.
So a sailboat would probably be better than
Oh, a sailboat, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And you know what? Most people wouldn't even think about a sailboat. I actually know how to sail. Do you know that?
Do you?
Yeah.
Alright. I know somebody with a sailboat
Okay.
that lives across from my parents' house. I don't know if they still. That was years ago. I don't know if they still live there.
How big is this sailboat, out of curiosity?
It was a pretty decent sized sailboat. I'd have to say it's
Enough to fit me, you, your entire family on?
yeah. It was a pretty big sailboat.
Was it? I don't remember. I've been over to your house many times. I never saw a sailboat.
It's like across the street.
It's a scooter!
A sailboat is a scooter, idiot.
Okay, so we explored the plane option. We explored the boat option. We briefly touched that we both believe that the highway vehicle option not going to work out too well.
Right.
I mean, you would have to know some extreme bucket back roads to be able to make it,
Or have a monster truck.
or do that. At the same point in time, I would have to assume that any major bridge crossing would be
Right.
insanely backed up.
Not to mention that would be the worst possible place to be because of the choke point.
That's true. Very true. 100% agree. Oh, so let's see. We touched on any other parts of the game plan that you can think of. Okay, think about this. If we do actually get a plane, where are you going to stop to refuel at?
You said I was going to refuel. I'm just going to bring it till I run out of fuel, and I'm going to land it somewhere,
And then hoof it the rest of the way?
And then step 2. I mean, if you see an airport all along the way, I mean that'd be preferable, and you could land there.
I mean, you played Microsoft Flight Simulator. You should know where most of them are.
Well, I mean, I only tried to land at 2 different airports unsuccessfully. Okay, successfully 1 time out of the 20 times I tried.
Fair enough.
I am not a plane lander. I can fly it pretty good.
That's why if we get in a plane, no pilot, you're not flying.
No, I don't have a problem flying. I have a problem landing.
Nah. That's where I got a big problem.
What, landing?
No. With you flying.
No. I'm telling you, I can fly a plane. I just can't land the plane.
Yeah. Just accept the fact that you're going to be the co-pilot.
I mean, I don't mind.
That's fine. Um, so, any other way that actually, dude, thinking about it now, I think sailboat is the way to go. Now that you
Sailboat
said
could
that,
be a good way, as long as you have some fish rods, you could fish for food and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't know where you're going to get water because.
well, at that point in time, though, if you did go like with the sailboat, you would need water purification tablets.
Right, but it's salt water, so
Right,
it's
but
not just the water.
you can actually take the salinity out of the salt water. There is a process to do that. I
it's like
don't
boiling,
actually
something
know,
about
but there
boiling.
is a process. I don't think it comes out boiling.
Well,
no.
you have the water has to you have to boil the water, and it has to go into a tube, and it has to come out and drip down into the other side, so that the salt stays in the pot, and then the water comes over to the other side.
At that point in time, it'd just be the water vapor.
Right.
Like basically condensation.
Right.
So, I mean, like I said, there is a way that you could turn the salt water into drinking water.
But it also
would be a long and arduous process.
the one thing you have to have heat in order to boil the water. So you have to have either some kind of fuel or some kind of wood.
Yeah. Well, at the same point in time, if you're sailing around, you can just stop on like islands.
Right.
As long as they're uninhabited.
Yeah.
Nobody there.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about zombies being there.
Find a lot of different things to burn too.
That's true. A lot of different things to burn. All right. So, general overall synopsis. Do you think we make it to the quote quote safe zone in this particular scenario?
I'm going to try.
Right. Of course, we're going to try, but I mean, do you think it's actually feasible?
I mean, if anybody can do it, why not us? You know what I mean?
That's where I'm at. I don't think anyone else stands a chance. I'm surviving. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there you go. There is our next iteration of the In the Event of series, A Zombie Apocalypse. I'm, of course, Greg Guy, joined here by Mr. Casey. That was very, very, very interesting, very, very more impromptu because you didn't come with like 3 pages of notes this time.
Right.
So I actually think that was more fun. We and also I changed up, from what we discussed. Slightly, not very much, a whole lot, but
Right.
still a little bit. But I honestly, in my personal opinion, I think we make it. I think we make it. I know I can fly a plane.
But can you land the plane?
I can land it too.
All right. We're counting on that.
I think we're good.
All right.
If there's a plane at the airport. But,
I can tell you one thing. If I was flying it, we definitely hit the ground. One way or another.
that's why you're not.
Right.
So, anyway, if you enjoyed this little bit of content, let us know down in the comments below. And, of course, as always, remember to like, share,
Subscribe and hit that bell button.
Ladies and gentlemen, that will be episode 14 of the Bangcast. And now, from your recommendation, we're going to go out and we're going to enjoy some Mexican food. So, ladies and gentlemen out there watching, have a lovely day.